And what is up, my good people? Okay, so it didn't take me much time to come up with something to talk about because I put on my to-do list to make a video. And in taking a little bit of time to reflect on a couple of things that I have been reading, it brought up this interesting title that I just came up with. I like it. I gotta admit, I'm kind of proud of it. You know, find the information that you want to expose yourself to, then make like an all you can eat buffet. All right. So first, I kind of came up with the plan because I like to read one book at a time. Now I'm reading two books at a time. Maybe I'll make it three books at a time. I don't know. I like to keep things spicy. I like to keep things fast paced. Always like to keep my eyes and ears towards the information. And actually, the more I realize that, the more time I actually spend on Twitter and YouTube. Now Facebook is not fun anymore. Facebook is not interesting to me. It's not interesting to me because it's Facebook is quite the mixed bag. All right, after a while with Twitter, you're gonna start to get a lot more of what you're looking for. All right. Well, at least that's the case for me. All right. It seems to favor. Okay, you following these people for these specific reasons, and they're like-minded, so they go look for information that you may be interested in. For example, a lot of the information that I expose myself to on Twitter is more so uh, the things going on with uh, President Trump and the conspiracies of the world. Notice I didn't say conspiracy theory, but the conspiracies, the corruption, and alternate news sites and sources, and so I seem to get a lot of information from them. But and if you listen to any of my old videos, you know that although all of these sites right now are doing their best to censor, but and they all have their flaws. But when you take a look at something like YouTube, I'm a fan of it because it keep giving me more of what I've been looking for. So it's a double-edged sword. Okay, you go looking for some videos and you get more of that. You know what I'm saying? So you really have to be selective when it comes to what you want. And the algorithm enforces, and it really mirrors, and it exposes what you want, because you can tell a lot about a person by what YouTube recommends them. Flat out, flat out, you can tell a lot about a person. Now, this it has to be a person that frequents YouTube to get the full effect, but you can tell a lot. All right. And anybody's welcome to see what's recommended to me. I'm not embarrassed because these are the things that I go looking for, and I've made it very clear to this algorithm. All right. And so, with the elimination of exposure to things that doesn't necessarily fit your narrative or where you want to be in life, then obviously it opens up more opportunity for exposure uh, to the things that more so align with your narrative. All right, so this is big here because there's two books that I'm reading right now. The first one is 13 Things That Mentally Strong People Don't Do. I believe that's what it's called. And the second one is Your Next Five Moves by Patrick Bet David. And I'm very fond of him. He's very very wise, very stern, uh, a lot of things. Well, he's driven, well read, all of these things. And so in his first chapter, he speaks on, and maybe the second chapter, no, first chapter, he speaks on who are you? Who do you want to be? You know what I'm saying? And I probably mentioned going to your journal and really getting in touch with what it means to be you. Don't know if I spoke too much on who you'd like to be, but he speaks on living as your future self in the now. And I may have mentioned that before. I may have passed that along. But when you see somebody else say it and you read it at the right time and you really internalize it, you know, because now you get to play around a little bit more. Now when you think about where you are right now, who you may see yourself as only right now in the bigger picture, it limits you. It gives you less room to play around. It really takes away from your imagination because a lot of us do internalize our circumstances. You know, you may be, I don't know if this is actually, it is still a thing. I was at a grocery store. You, peace, fam. You may be someone who bags groceries, for example, and you may not feel very significant about that. You know, it may be embarrassing. It may be kind of demeaning or degrading, and you do these things for people, and they don't say thank you. You know, whether or not you should be thanked for doing your job, that's a different question. But you don't feel significant, and if you allow that to dictate your view on life, then you may not see beyond where you are. And that's why actually had a great deal of satisfaction in a position where I didn't have much satisfaction um, when I was working in construction because I would have my headphones on and I would always be listening to people on YouTube, just trying to, and these people would give me a glimpse as to what's out there. You know, there's got to be more out there for me. Whether I mean, regardless of if I could experience that in real time or not. You know, you always got to keep your head not only to the information because information is everywhere. You could just, you know, go for a walk and a bit of information to hit you, but not just information, but information that will allow you to build on your foundation. And some of it may be uh, hard to you may not be able to apply it right away. Is what I'm trying to get at, but it's good to have it in the back of your mind because you may come across something that will bridge that gap, that will lessen the gap as time starts to go on. The as time starts to go on, the more you learn, the more you apply what you learn, right? And the more when it comes to learning, the more that you learn makes it easier for you to game plan. And so, as I was mentioning, your next five moves, the new book by Patrick Bet David. I formulated a plot around the book cover alone for this very day, because this day is going to be different from tomorrow. I don't have to deal with certain responsibilities today that I have to deal with tomorrow. So when I was writing in my journal today, after already accomplishing a few things, I started thinking, what would my next five moves be? And the interesting thing about the notion that I'm taking from this book and from the cover alone, from the thought of what my next five moves is that I can apply it to think principles that I learned from other books. And so another book is the Compound Effect, where it basically speaks towards making little efforts daily that will compound over time. So now can mesh the two philosophies together and build my game plan around it and see results unfold by way of that combination. And so, for example, I wrote down 5 things. Now, not all of them feed into each other, but some of them, and most of them, maybe 80% of it, is just 5 things that I had written down, and I'll go back and write more. Um, these things help my narrative. It helps progress my narrative. Okay, so let me see. One one thing that I wrote down was well, actually, here are the 5 things. Convert videos to audio. So what I do is I'll take these YouTube videos, I'll convert it to audio, and then I'll upload them through the podcast. And there are some people who found me through the podcast, just like there's some people who found me through YouTube. And so I'll do that, and also transcribe videos. Okay, so there's an app that I think may be only on Apple devices, Apple phones. It's called Otter, like the animal. And what's interesting about Otter is that it will transcribe audio, uh, like what you're hearing right now. So when I take these videos, I I convert them to MP3. I take those MP3, upload it on my phone to the Otter app. It'll transcribe it. It'll be poor. It won't be perfect, but it really does cut down a lot of the work. Now, as a writer, I don't mind that it's going to be poor because one, I can't type fast. Two, I know how to take the bones and polish it up and turn it to whatever I want it to be. All right. And when you take something like, I'll give you an example. So I transcribed a 23-minute video, and that converted into 3,200 words. And I have over 400 videos. I'm not going to tell you to do the math because I can't do the math, but it's probably safe to say hundreds of thousands of words. Now, again, it's not going to be pretty, but a lot of my fundamental ideas will show up. And so, although there will be a lot of deleting when it's all said and done, the planning your moves ahead, you got to have the right information in your head. It will propel you to do certain things like this. All right. So, I'm really big on this. And so, the next thing, write on some of the subjects that I wrote down in my notes. So, just uh, I write down some of the things that I would like to write out that I will put in the book. And then later on, or maybe right away, I will go and uh, speak on the subject. I'll write it up. Okay. Do my best and then get out of there. And one of those things are insignificant. I need to call my car insurance place, but I need to do it. It needs to be done. All right. I don't want to forget it, so I write it down. And the other thing is doing what I'm doing right now, which is making this video. All right. And see, 4 of these things obviously add to my narrative and who I want to be. What's up, fam? How you doing? This adds to my narrative and who I want to be. And the more I fill my day up, my day with things that add to who I ultimately see myself as, the greater my outcome will be. And this will prevent me from being in a situation where I got a lot of ideas and hopes and dreams, but a lot of inactivity because I am not organized. Also, this eliminates me from, which may be the case for a lot of people, as this was the case for myself, this eliminates the possibility or decreases the chances of me being upset by way of not being where I would like to be because it just didn't come to me because I did take action. Okay. You see, because life is full of many formulas and you get to mess around with it however you see fit. But I like to plan, I like to take action, I like to read up and listen to other people on the subject, get their viewpoints. It's like allowing mentors into my life, and I don't have to pay them anything. Only thing I got to pay is attention. And as a capitalist, I like the thought of that. I like the thought of not paying. Uh, yeah, whatever. It adds to my strategy. And when you come from a place of not really having many resources, you learn to get quite resourceful. Okay, and I kind of want to wrap this one up, but to wrap it up and see if I got anything else. Basically, what I would encourage you all to do is when you find out who you would want to be in life, who you are, what turns you on, what you don't like, what turns you off, your shortcomings, your problems, let those inspire unique and profound questions that you can ask yourself, that you can ask others, that you can ask um, search engines to help you get a better understanding of what it is that you're feeling, that you're thinking. Chances are you're going to find some information that'll help you get closer to where you will want to be as far as an understanding goes, as far as self image, accomplishments, whatever the case may be. And the algorithms, very helpful. I spoke on Twitter, I spoke on Google, and another one that is becoming my favorite on the Kindle, on the App Store. They start to give you more and more what you're looking for. All right. As time goes on, the more I use this thing, the more I realize the benefits of Kindle Unlimited. All right. This is, I cannot stress enough, Kindle Unlimited is one of the best investments you could probably ever make. A lot of wealth that you can download for free after you pay the fee. But if you ask me, free. All right. Um, I can't stress that enough. I just downloaded some books on wholesaling. I'm glad that they give you rating for these books as well. Which I mean, they could be bought or whatever, but I'll be the judge there. You know, books on wholesaling, how to make money doing notary. Even you can even get Tim Ferriss books, those big ass books, man, like 1,000 pages or so. All right, just buy the books. Whatever the case may be. But ultimately, find the information you want, man. Just go all in. Keep reinforcing that. The more I do this, the more I realize that I wasted a lot of time doing this on Facebook in particular, Instagram probably even more. I'm not big on the scrolling on Instagram thing, but you know, it really can take up a lot of your time. But when it's all said and done, what did you get out of it? All right. Time goes by extremely fast, man. I woke up this morning at 4:20. All right. And it's almost been 8 hours already. Man, I got a lot of things to do. And so I was just hoping that I'd be able to encourage you with a message today. And in case you were wondering, yeah, I'm also going to take this video and, of course, I'm going to convert it into MP3 and I'm going to throw it on the podcast. And I am going to transcribe it. I mean, that's three birds with one stone. Yeah, always talk about two birds, never about three. All right. And just give it some time, and I can think of some other things I can do with this, man. Thousands of ways to skin a cat. All right. So with that being said, best wishes. Also, I'm going to get back to talking about some of the things that I see happening in this world. I don't feel the need to kind of update you guys because I'm kind of internalizing it all. I don't know how many of you been in the dark, man. There's a lot of interesting things going on here in America, and I anticipate things to get worse before they get better. And at the very least, they're going to look very bad. But I because it was well calculated and it was already thought ahead, it won't be as bad as it could have been, or as it could be, or as bad as it looks. All right. Yes, and it does involve martial law. I do believe that we're going to have some form of martial law. It just so happens that I live very close to DC. I'm about 30 minutes away from the White House. It's going to get very lit. There will be some riots. There will be military personnel on the streets. And although this may mirror Nazi Germany, um, when you see all the military personnel on the streets, I, I believe, and I'm willing to risk sounding like a fool, that this will actually be for our own good. Okay. So with that being said, man, best wishes to you all.